I am in my 22nd year of being an entrepreneur, a business owner. I've run 4 different businesses in that time. I've made a ton of big mistakes and I've had a ton of successes. So today I want to share with you the most important things to me to keeping a business alive, staying motivated, not getting burnt out, and ensuring future success in whatever it is that you do. This will apply to absolutely any business type. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. For those of you that don't know me, I'm currently a music producer and a mix engineer in Nashville, Tennessee. This is my studio. But this is not the only thing that I've done. This is not the only business that I've ran. I've ran multiple bands, which included lots of contracts, lots of booking, lots of customer service, lots of interaction between owners. I ran a live sound production company for years and I mixed for other bands live. I had a whole PA, big trailer, whole huge light rig, and I would be contracted out and go all over the state of Illinois to mix for other bands. I started out as a recording studio co-owner for 5 or 6 years and then moved into my own studio, and I have now owned and run my own recording studio, my own business for 15 or 16 years now. And I've also run this YouTube channel, which is its own whole business, its own whole machine, in which I negotiate lots of brand deals, I negotiate with other companies, lots of NDAs, lots of contracts, and there is a lot that goes into running a business. There's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur, a lot that goes into working for yourself that I really wish someone would have told me when I was starting out. So today I want to share with you the 7 most important things to me for creating a successful business and maintaining a successful business. The first one is you need to set realistic expectations for what success looks like. You need to define what success is to you. Is it making $1 million a year, or is it just simply being able to do what you love and pay your bills doing what you love? The reason why this is so important is because it is so easy to feel like a failure, to feel like you're failing and you're not doing good enough when you're running your own business. So I think it's very, very important to set a really clear line for what success looks like for you. For me, it is simply being able to pay my bills while doing what I love and what I want to do and controlling my own schedule. No one can tell me when I can and can't take vacations. No one can tell me when I can get off work or if I have to work late. And can I pay my bills while doing that? That is the minimum bar for success for me personally. Everything over that is a bonus. So whenever I feel like I'm not good enough, like my business is failing, I literally just, can I pay my bills this month? Yes, then I'm a success. Now you might set that bar at a different place, but it's very important to define what success looks like for you so you can fall back on that when you're feeling down and like you're a failure. This next one might sound a little odd, but I promise you it's so important. And it is to just always do your best, but then let everything else go. If a project or a client or a product that you're working on goes sideways, analyze that. How could you have fixed that? How could you have avoided that thing going sideways? Write it down if you have to. I find that I can get a lot more accomplished if I'm literally writing stuff down, like with a pen and paper, and outlining the things that I could have done better or differently to avoid this mistake or to avoid something going sideways. But sometimes things just go sideways and you don't have any control over it. So when something goes bad, when something goes wrong, figure out what you could have done to avoid it and then let it go. And just try to make sure that you do everything you can the next time. But there's gonna be times when stuff falls apart and it's not even your fault. You have to be ready to just let that go because it will eat you up. The next thing is when you have your competitors or people in the same industry as you and you see them finding success faster than you, when you see them launching their businesses and they're opening second locations and they just seem super swamped all the time and they're building new houses and buying new cars, you have to stay in your own lane and not compare yourself to those people. Now, this is something that you only learn, you only realize after you've been in business for 15 or 20 years. First of all, there's a great saying that says, comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare yourself to others, it steals your happiness, it steals your energy. So it's not good anyway. But secondly, when you've been in business for a long time, 15, 20 years, you start realizing that there's a bunch of things that happen attention to those people who are seemingly finding crazy success when you're not. Now, obviously, we don't want to wish bad on anyone finding success ever. I'm super happy for everyone around me that finds success. But back in the day, 15 years ago, I would see these people that were dumping crazy money into studios and seemingly real busy, that seemed like they were doing much better than me. But I tried to just put my head down, stay busy, do the work. And what happened to all those people? They're not in the industry anymore. They either got burnt out, or they actually weren't a success and they were portraying something that they weren't on social media, or they didn't have the stamina to stick with it long enough to create an actual career out of it. But the most important thing is, don't compare yourself to others when it seems like others around you are finding more success or finding success faster than you are. It literally doesn't matter, and in 15 or 20 years, most of those people will not even be in the same industry as you. Okay, this next one is kind of the opposite of what we hear preached relentlessly in the entrepreneurial culture. When you listen to business coaches, all these dudes, these business dudes on TikTok just preaching this entrepreneur hustle, you can do it all, you have to do it all. I don't think so. What I do think is that you should make sure there are 0 wasted minutes in your day. And again, I would write this down. At the end of every day, take a look back at your day and figure out where the wasted minutes were. There's a shocking amount of time in the workday, and I'm just talking an 8 or 10 hour workday. I'm not even talking the whole time you're awake. You can do an incredible amount of work in 8 or 10 hours, but it's very easy when we are taking our sweet time making coffee and maybe we're reading the paper. No one actually reads the paper anymore. Maybe you flip on YouTube and you watch a couple videos. Maybe you get scrolling on TikTok and you do that. If you open your phone 5 times in a day and scroll on TikTok, you're probably wasting a half hour a day. So rather than this whole mentality of like work every waking minute and push, grind, go, rather than do that, I think it's a lot more realistic and a lot more sustainable across the, like I said, I'm in my 22nd year here. I think it's a lot more sustainable to learn how to be incredibly efficient with your time. How can you save minutes? Even when it comes to your process, whether you're creating products or doing a service, refine your process and how you can get stuff done faster. What are the friction points that keep you from being productive? How do you remove those friction points? That's the sort of stuff I think we should focus on when it comes to using every single minute of, not of our day, but of our work day. And again, I think you should write this stuff down at the end of every day. Figure out where the friction points were. Is it literally just your phone and scrolling? Is it something in your business that's keeping you from being productive? Fix those things. So that leads me into the next point, and that is relentless reinvestment and optimization. Not only should you be constantly searching for the friction points in your business and what's keeping you from being productive, you should also be consistently reinvesting into your business. A couple examples of that for me that is both optimization and reinvestment is, for instance, this studio. There has been some comments here on this channel in the past of people being like, man, you change things so much. It's like, yeah, because I'm trying to do better work faster. So for 20 years now, I've been constantly readjusting things to remove friction points so that way I can do better work faster. Now, sometimes that's literally just changing a process. Sometimes that's changing a physical setup. Sometimes it's investing in new equipment or new gear that allow you to do that. Same thing with this YouTube channel here. I'm constantly investing in cameras and lenses and all kinds of stuff like that, which I have a whole nother YouTube channel more focused on that side of things, the content creation side of things. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to go check that out. There's also a link down there to sign up to an email list. If you'd like to sign up, get notified of new signature gear, new merch, and all kinds of stuff that I'm coming out with, be sure to hit the top link in the description and sign up for the email list. And while you're down there, make sure you're subscribed and leave me a comment. But a business is never fully built, ever. A business is never fully optimized, ever. A business is never fully equipped, ever. There are always improvements to be made. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to stress about these improvements and that you need to feel like you're held back because you can't afford these improvements or you don't know what they are yet. You should just be working, but you should always be optimizing and reinvesting. The next one is adapt or die. And this is a harder one to figure out. You need to figure out what's the best way to handle this for you, but let me give you a couple examples. When I first started this YouTube channel, it was solely based around helping artists find their way. I did videos like how to get endorsements, how to find a manager, how to book a studio, all kinds of stuff like that that was aimed squarely at artists. What I thought would happen is I would direct all of this content to helping artists, and some of those artists would hire me to produce and mix for them. But when I was building this studio, when we built this house around this studio, I did a video as I was tearing down my old studio about how I charted top 40 on Billboard in an apartment bedroom studio. And the title of the video was A Serious Home Studio, What You Really Need. Well, that was the first video on the channel that kind of blew up. It got 200,000 or 300,000 views. And I was like, man, that's interesting, because these other videos directed at artists were not doing great. They would get 3,000 to 5,000 views, and this one got 300,000 views. So I went back to doing content focused on helping artists, and I went right back down to 3,000 or 5,000 views. And then I did another video on a studio. It was the studio build of this studio. And I started doing more content on studio and engineer related stuff, and those videos did exceptionally well. I did not start this YouTube channel to talk about engineering or mixing whatsoever. I started it to help artists and to drive clients. Now, I could have handled this situation in two ways. I could have just been super stubborn. Nope, I'm helping artists. This is what makes me happy. This is what I want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I decided to do it that way, there's nothing wrong with that. But what turned this YouTube channel into a success was recognizing the things that worked better and then just going all in on that. I'm happy to talk about engineering and mixing. I'm super pumped to do that. I love that. It's what I'm the most passionate about. So this is where the balancing act comes in, where you need to decide how to handle it for yourself. When you're running a business of any kind, try a few different things, like scoot around a little bit and try a few different things. You might find a thing that, one, you're equally as passionate about, but even if you're slightly less passionate about it, but you are far more successful at it, then you need to decide if that's okay with you. Will that make you happy? Doing that thing that you're slightly less passionate about, but far more successful at. But the point that I want to get across is adapt or die. Pay attention to what's working and what's not working. And if you are solely focused on running a successful business, always continue to lean further into the things that are working. Before we get on to the next thing, there are links in the description down below for all of the gear that I use. If you're any type of a musician or work in any type of a studio, or if you do any sort of content creation like make YouTube videos, you can get literally anything you need from Sweetwater. So anytime you need any piece of gear whatsoever, whether it's musical gear, studio gear, or camera gear, you can jump on any one of my videos, click on any one of the links in the description down below. And once you're on the site, you can purchase anything that you need. And when you do that, it costs you absolutely nothing extra, but it goes a long, long ways to help support me, support this YouTube channel, and help me keep making content just like this. So thank you guys so much for using the links in the description anytime you need to purchase anything. And thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. This next one stings a little bit, and it is no matter what business you're in. I don't care if you're a plumber. I don't care if you cut hair. I don't care if you record people for music. I don't care if you're in a band. It does not matter what genre of business you are in. This one always stings, and it happens to all of us. And that is that clients are going to leave. They just are. The first couple times it happens, really sucks. It's not a fun thing to go through, but it does happen. It's going to happen. And now that I'm not at the top of the level of the music industry, but approaching that, I would consider myself like a C++ or a B- producer mixer, but I have lots and lots of friends that I would consider A-list mixers and producers. And they experience the exact same things. It does not matter how high up you go in your career or how successful you get, clients are going to go somewhere else. And I think there's an important way that we should be looking at this and handling this. First and foremost, could you have done anything to prevent it? Was it a disagreement that you had, that you got a little too mouthy with the client and you pushed on them a little bit too hard and they went somewhere else? Well, now you know better. Just try to avoid that the next time. Was it a skill set issue, like you just literally were not quite good enough to do what they wanted you to do? Well, then practice, identify the shortcomings that you have and get better so that way it doesn't happen next time. But then once you've done those things, once you've identified the problems and you've made the changes, you have to let it go. You just have to let it go. And if you analyze it and there is nothing that you could have done, which also happens all the time, you also just have to let it go. It cannot affect you mentally or emotionally because it will crush you and it will negatively impact your interactions with future projects, future clients, or future products. You have to be comfortable with failure and with losing in order for this to work long-term for you. And trust me, that is one of the hardest things to wrap your head around. But it is one of the most important to keeping your mindset right for a successful business. Don't forget to hit the links in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.